Welcome back into another edition of Prime Sports World. And happy Tuesday, everybody. In today's episode, we're breaking down week number 6 of the XFL and give you our week number 7 predictions. Also, give you our game balls from week number 6. I'm, of course, your host, David On Point Huffman. If you happen to miss us live, I've shared the link to all of our streaming platforms, so go check us out over there. Also, please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. And I'm, of course, joined by my co-host, Mr. TJ Hopkins. Welcome into the show, TJ. Happy Tuesday, my friend. How are things over there in the land of Lincoln?
About the same. It's there. I don't know if you are getting news on this, but the mayoral race for Chicago is coming to a close. I think next week.
Yeah, they're doing a runoff election.
Yeah.
None of the candidates got the required whatever the amount is in order to be the quote-unquote mayor of Chicago.
Mayor of Chicago.
They're doing a runoff election. It will be Lori Lightfoot, so there will be a new mayor in Chicago. She's the first mayor to lose a re-election, I think, ever.
No, she's the first one to lose it in like 30, 40 years or something like that. It's been a long time.
I was not alive when that last happened. So if I wasn't alive, it's never happened. But yeah, it's really nice here at Fort Wayne, although we're supposed to get snow potentially here next week, which is not I'm not looking forward to that at all. I thought I was done with all that stuff. I had to go out and like scrape my car this morning, and I'm just like, man, like I only scrape enough so I can see out of the front windshield, and then I roll the windows down so I can turn. So but dude, also remember last week I told you I was gonna go get that new flavor from Buffalo Wild Wings.
Never got them.
Got it today. Got it today. So shout out to Buffalo Wild Wings, Buffalo Ranch and garlic, honey garlic. Both of them pretty freaking good, dude. I'm telling you, I recommend.
That honey garlic sounds intriguing. I'll give you that.
It was quite good, man. And the Buffalo Ranch, if you like buffalo and you usually dip your buffalo wings in ranch, you'll like it. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. So let's get off of buffalo wings. We can talk about that all day. Let's talk about the XFL. And what did you think about the play in week number 6 in the XFL before we get into each individual game?
Oh yeah, obviously it's way better than what it was from like week one. It's 6 weeks into the season. It's sad it's going by that fast, right? Like it's
Yeah.
already
I mean, we only got like 6 weeks left of this. I mean, they got 4 weeks
4 weeks.
left through. Well, and then we got the playoffs, right? So we got like a 2-week playoff,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
3-week
yes,
playoff, whatever that's going to be. So we
something
only
like
have
that.
six
Yeah,
or 7 weeks left of the XFL, and that's going to be done. But luckily, the USFL starts on April 16th,
yeah, like
which
right.
is right around the.
So it's like this one ends, and then you
Yep.
go right into that one, which is
And,
great.
and then you,
It's
and then, and
football,
then
man.
you right after that one's over, the NFL is going to be back on. So
Right?
it's a nice little system we got here.
Right. This is America's dream, year-round football. Right.
Thanks for
It,
checking us out, Michael Boren, man. What's up, buddy? Thanks for checking us out here at the XFL at Prime Sports World. Yeah, we've been recapping every single week of the XFL, and we even previewed the first week. So yeah, we've been locked into the XFL since it started. We're on the bandwagon hardcore. So thank you very much for checking us out. Please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. We cover all the sports you can think of. But let's get into the first matchup, TJ. Let's talk about it. Sea Dragons going up against the Guardians in week number 6. So the Sea Dragons pull out the victory as Ben DiNucci is probably the best quarterback in this league. They win 26-19. He was 18 of 35, 177 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. He was also their leading rusher with 43 yards rushing. Juwan Green and Blake Jackson both had receiving touchdowns for the Sea Dragons. On the Orlando Guardians side, this is the best the team has probably looked. At least
these
for an
last
entire
2
game.
weeks.
At least
These
for an
last
entire
2
game.
weeks.
Quentin Dormady came in, played okay in this game. 24 44, 243. No touchdowns, no interceptions. Devin Darlington, leading rusher for that team, 88 yards on the ground and 2 touchdowns. Cody Latimer, leading receiver, 5 catches, 59 yards. What'd you see when you watched this game?
Okay, so obviously the Guardians, they're out of this thing. They're 0-6. They have no shot at anything. They can win 4 in a row. It's just not going to do it. These last 2 weeks for them have been the best they've looked as a team. Like you scored 32 points in a losing effort the week before. You follow that up with this performance. Now, don't let the score fool you. Like, yeah, they lost, but defensively, they was after it. They made Ben DiNucci's life a living hell.
Yeah, this is the least amount of passing yards he's had so far this season. So it's a testament to how good the Guardians defense played in this game.
They were. You ever see a team that like a defense like they come up so close on getting turnovers, like they miss a pick by like a few inches. Like that was them until they finally got one. It's like it was almost like you could sense it. It's like, oh, they're gonna get one. They're gonna get one.
Yeah, they had nine tackles for loss in this game. That's a pretty solid number. They did have that 1 interception.
But the downfall for the Guardians this game, special teams was terrible. The special teams was god awful. Seattle had like 2 big kick returns. Now the defense did their part. The defense held them to like field goals, I think, on those 2 drives. But the straw that broke the camel's back, you get a block punt. You get the block punt, and the ball travels all the way down to the 6-yard line for the Sea Dragons, and it's just like, okay, just punch it in. And that's what ended up happening. But again,
they got the 4-yard touchdown from Ben DiNucci, basically to seal the game. With 6 minutes left, that was the final game. I mean, they were up at that point, 2019. But yeah, that was for sure the final dagger as the block punch set up the Sea Dragons touchdown. But yeah, their defense came out and played well in this game. They played well enough to for sure get their first win. But I mean, they won time possession by over 3 minutes. They had more total offense in this game than the Sea Dragons did. By almost double, like 391 to 252. They had more first downs than the Sea Dragons in this game, 22 to 15. Like by every net measurable, they won this game except for on the scoreboard. And when it comes to discipline, I mean, we'll talk about this later when we get to the Roughnecks game. But 12 pennies for 100, 105 yards in a game, you're not going to win a game if you play like that.
You're not going to win that game. You're not going to win that. And obviously, on the Seattle side, you got to find a way to get Josh Gordon back into the offense. Like teams have they figured out like, okay, I'm not gonna let Josh Gordon go crazy on me. Like the last time we saw him do anything was that Vegas game where he caught that.
Yeah, that two
What,
touchdown game.
yeah, what
He
turned
didn't.
into and
He didn't. He only had one. He only had two targets in this game. He didn't have a single catch. So
so yeah, so like if you're Seattle, you got to find a way to ingratiate him. Excuse me, back into the offense because it's like you kind of forget he's out there.
and I mean, you're
But
looking at them now. I mean, when they won four games in a
four
row.
in
I
a
mean,
row.
they're really like on a winning streak here. I mean, they won 4 games in a row, and they've won them in decisive fashion. I mean, they've won these games. They have the fourth highest plus or minus in the league right now, and they're 4-2. I mean, they're right there with the St. Louis Battlehawks, which is going to be a tough division to win now. So
Yeah, obviously, I think the turning, and we'll get to them. Well, no, I'll just say when we get to them. But
uh,
yeah,
moving on from the next game, this was what was it? Saturday night, I think.
this
This is Saturday
was
afternoon.
Saturday
Uh,
afternoon. Yes,
Saturday afternoon, the St. Louis Battlehawks went into Vegas and put a thumping on the Vipers, 29-6. AJ McCarron probably had his best game as an XFL quarterback, 23 of 29, 236, and 3 tutties. Brian Hill Brian Hill had 71 yards rushing. Kareem Walker had the rushing touchdown, and Darius Shepard, 7 catches for 79 yards and 2 touchdowns, and Gary Jennings had a receiving touchdown in this game. I don't believe he's related to Greg Jennings, but that would be pretty cool if he was. Moving on to the Vegas side, the quarterback situation is still not ideal there, which is probably why they're 1-5. Brett Hundley came in. He did throw a touchdown. Then I think he got hurt during this game, and Luis Perez came in and did not play well at all. 13 of 20 with 2 picks. And then, they got nothing out of their running game. 13 carries for 43 yards as a team. And John Lovett, 3 catches for 44 yards and a touchdown as the Vipers go down, and they just stay down as they do not get a touchdown until the fourth quarter in this game when it was long.
long over. Again, I think this Vegas team. We've seen their ups and downs. Like we saw games where they were just where they were competitive for like a half, and then the wheels fall off in the second half. And then you had the game against Seattle that we just mentioned. Like you're winning that game. You're winning that game. And then Seattle pulls off the miracle and you lose it in the final seconds of that game. Like you could easily be 3-2, 4-2, whatever. I think Vegas is a prime example of like their record. Like they're better than what their record indicates. Now others can disagree because their quarterback play has been
woeful at times. Luis
yes,
Perez has had a game here and there where he's played well,
same.
but yeah, they just haven't put it together for an entire game.
And I think that's the same thing with Brett Hundley. Like Brett Hundley came in, he started one game and he looked phenomenal. And then
And I was wrong. Luis Perez actually started this game, and then Brent Hundley came in.
Hundley came in.
Yeah, when Hundley was Luis Perez was wildly ineffective, so they put Brent Hundley in, and he orchestrated the 1 touchdown. But I think they tried to start Brent Hundley in another game earlier this season.
He got hurt. Yeah, he got hurt.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the plan is for Vegas. I'm looking forward to the first real off season with this league, like not just like putting like the whole team together. So it's like obviously the Orlando Guardians and the Vegas in Vegas, like the Vipers, they're going to be like 1-2 in terms of how they draft, if they have a draft.
I'm not sure how they're going to be doing that draft. Like,
right?
Are they going to do it? Like, I mean, there's something we haven't really discussed here, but like, are they going to like basically going to wait until after the NFL draft? And if you don't get drafted as an NFL player and you're not an undrafted free agent, do you go into the XFL draft pool? I think that's probably what they'll do, right?
Yeah, I would assume so. It's because it's kind of hard to draft right now. Obviously, one, your season's going on, and 2, your draft is not going to trump the NFL draft. Like
well, the NFL used to have that. Was it the complimentary draft that they did like in the middle of the season? Right? Is that how Terrell Pryor ended up in the NFL?
Yeah.
Did he get drafted? Did he get drafted?
The supplementary draft? Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it was like in the middle of the year. I don't really know. But yeah, Vegas is probably done. They got thoroughly outplayed from beginning to end in this game. Every major statistic you can think of, they got outplayed. Time possession, yards, turnovers, first downs. And that's just what happens when you don't have quarterback play that can sustain it for an entire
Yeah,
game.
total yards 328 to 230. Time of possession 33 minutes to 26 minutes and 55 seconds. 18 first downs to 13 first downs. What else
I mean,
was there?
they had more penalty yardage, or they had more penalties against them, but most yardage. They ran the
Yeah,
ball for only 43
for
yards the
12,
entire game. I mean,
2 for 12 on third down. Like that's.
yeah, it's just a
I mean,
recipe. You're not going to get things done when you have stats like that. That's just a fact. And you have
yeah,
to have, and if your quarterback play is going to be this inconsistent, you should really try to complement it with a dominant running game. But when you only run the ball 13 times, I realize that they're down for most of it, but you're averaging only 3.3 yards a carry. It's just not going to get it done.
it's not. And I
So
don't. So you just got to keep at it. Like hopefully they hit something, they find something in these last 4 weeks to build on going forward.
at least they got to figure out the quarterback situation. To the Saturday night game, we got the San Antonio Brahmas going into Arlington and beating the Arlington Renegades 15-9, as this is a rematch from the week before. And this is just a tale of just bad quarterback play. Let's just call it what it is. Juwan Pass. So the Brahmas lost both of their starting quarterbacks during the practice this week, and they basically had to sign Juwan
Two
Pass
guys.
and they had to sign two guys on Thursday, and they played on Saturday. Juwan Pass came in and played 8 of 14, 57 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. Kurt Benkert came in, played really not good at all. 1 and 6, two picks, 2 yards and a pick. They were led by their Jacquez Patrick, leading rusher, 15 for 82. Also, Khalil and Balaj also tore his Achilles during practice this week. So they didn't have their leading rusher for this particular game. But Patrick, 15 to 82. Landon Akers was their leading receiver, 2 catches for 24 yards. And on the Arlington side, I mean, you had playing against a team that loses their 2 starting quarterbacks during the week, and you still can't win this game because of their wildly inconsistent quarterback play, and they're just unwillingness to stick to one of these guys. I mean, Drew Plitt came in 10 of 16, 163, touchdown and a pick. I mean, he threw a really nice touchdown. It was like the nicest touchdown of the weekend. And the next possession, Kyle Sloter comes in. Like, he was already in there for a series at that time anyways, but he goes to 6 of 13 for 22 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Devon Smith is their leading rusher with 42 yards. And he's also their leading receiver, 4 catches for 49 yards. And Winningham caught the insane touchdown.
Oh, that was beautiful.
If you've not seen it, it is a really nice touchdown. He had 1 catch for 16 yards for that touchdown. It was basically falling down. Like, I'm not even sure he caught it. It was quite the play.
It was beautiful.
But they lose 15-9, as they just could not get offense generated. Neither of these teams really generated a lot of offense. But Brahmas get the revenge. They come back and they win after losing last week. Thoughts?
All right. Again, I've said this about San Antonio. Like, this is a team where you're gonna be in the ice bath a couple times after you play them. Like, they are a physical smash mouth team. I don't think they've eclipsed 20 points in any of their games.
Hold on, I have to go to the website to figure that out.
I'm serious. Like, did they play last week? All right, so they scored 10 points last week. They scored 6 points the week before that, week 4. Week 3 they scored 13. Week 2 they scored 30. They played Orlando. And then week 1 they lost 18 to 50. So like one game they scored over 20 points.
The other games they scored 115. So this one, they scored 16 in this one. No, 15. Like, yeah, they've had 15 points or fewer in every game but one.
Every game but one. So 15, 30, 13, 6, 10, 15.
Well, I mean, this is another example of a game where Arlington, generated more offense. I mean, 249 yards. They led 1 time of possession. They had more first downs than San Antonio. But as we're talking about with the final game, 10 penalties against them in this game for 106 yards. Like, if you're going to commit double-digit penalties in any league, period, you're going to lose that game. You just are.
Yeah. What's his name?
It's just
is it
so
Bob
undisciplined.
Stoops? Is it
Yeah,
Bob
Bob
Stoops?
Stoops. Bob Stoops is the head coach of the Arlington Renegades.
Former Oklahoma Sooner.
Yeah,
It's I'm with you. Like, okay, I understand the whole two quarterback thing. If
but they don't
that
do anything. They don't do anything different. They're the same
that's
guy.
that's what I'm saying. Like, if that's a part of your game plan, like
As,
we'll get to in the last game. But if you see a guy like a Drew Plitt who, for this game, for the sake of argument in this game, he had it going for what it's worth, right? He threw the touchdown pass. Like the offense looked better under him. We see this sometimes with Vegas, like Luis Perez struggles. They bring in a Brett Hundley, and the offense just clicks for a minute, and then all of a sudden you're gonna go back to the
yeah,
guy that was.
I've actually you actually see that a lot in this league. Like I don't know what it is, but like especially like the Guardians. Like the Guardians, they'll have it rolling with like, and then like here comes Paxton Lynch coming back out. Like, but I think it's because Kyle Sloter, like, wasn't he like USFL MVP like 2 years ago? Or like something like that, and they're like, oh yeah, this guy, we want this guy to be the guy. But Drew Plitt outplayed him the entire season. Like I don't really understand why they continue to just bench Drew Plitt for Kyle Sloter. He hasn't proved anything in the XFL.
I don't either. But kudos to the Brahmas and Hines Ward for winning this game when you lost both of your starting quarter. You basically signed two dudes off the street,
Yeah,
and I don't know if I don't know if that's praise for them or if that's an indictment on Arlington, bro. Like, I legit thought Arlington was gonna be like better than this.
I thought so too. Yeah, but their quarterback play has really held them back. I mean, Kyle Sloter has not been good. Drew Plitt has been better, but only by a little bit. Like it really hasn't been anything impressive. Um,
No, and it's like to your point, like you lost a game where the opposing team only had 162 total yards of offense. Total, 162
yeah,
total.
yeah.
Like they didn't even. They had 51 yards passing as a team.
They had one touchdown. They had a
They had
54. They had a 44-yard fumble return for a touchdown. That is the only. That is the only offense. That's the only touchdown they scored in the game. Otherwise, John Parker Romo, who not related to Tony Romo, which I had to Google because I was super curious about it. He
They
hit three.
mentioned that on the broadcast. They
Uh,
really did. They
uh,
really
it,
like. Hey, wouldn't it be cool if he was related to Tony Romo? Like why
it
everybody
would.
got to be related?
It would be pretty cool though. I mean, for real. Like if it was like Tony Romo's like cousin or something.
That is
I would like that.
But
But yeah, he hit
56 yards is impressive.
56 yards is a banger, dude. Like it was for the base. So yeah, this is it's not a good game for the Arlington Renegades. This is a game you should win when you're basically going up against a quarterback that signed a quarterback off the street.
Bro,
You know,
San Antonio had more punt yards than total yards of offense. Their punter punted the ball 6 times for 300 yards.
they
He
got
averaged
Brad Wynn, right? Brad Wynn is their punter.
Wing,
Yeah,
Brad Wing.
former NFL punter. I think he played for the Giants for a little while.
Like he averaged 50 yards a punt. He had more punt yards than oh my god. Like,
A lot, a lot. I think if you add up all the field goal yardage that Parker Romo kicked, he probably has more yards of total offense than the Brahmas did. To the final game, as we were treated to a Monday night evening nightcap. Wish the game had been closer because this is two heavyweights in the XFL going head to head. And once again, the undiscipline of the Roughnecks kind of reels their head again for them. But they fall to the DC Defenders, who are proving to be the best team in the XFL, with probably the second best fans in the XFL as well. But they win this game 37-26.
no, I gotta give them the edge over St. Louis. That's just me.
All right. I think it's close. Jordan Tiamu played his best game as a passing quarterback. Something kind of surprised me how well he played in this game. 19 of 31, 245, two touchdowns. De'Aaron King did not have a single rushing attempt in this game, but he did have one pass attempt for 1 yard, for 4 yards, which is kind of surprising he didn't have a rushing attempt, given how they've used him in the past. And then Abram Smith continues to be probably the best running back in this league. 19 carries for 95 yards and a tutty. And Lucky Jackson caught one of the receiving touchdowns, 5 catches for 136 yards and a touchdown. Alex Ellis had the other one for the Defenders. And then on the Houston side of this, Cole McDonald, 8 of 11, 194 yards and a touchdown. Brandon Silvers, 10 of 17, 111 yards and a pick. Cole McDonald also leading rusher for this team, and he punched one in on the ground. Max Borghi, 2 touchdowns, and then Burnett had the lone receiving touchdown for the Roughnecks. But as I mentioned at the beginning of this, there's the stats. It comes down to the penalty yardage for the Roughnecks. You commit 12 penalties for 100 yards against a team that is undefeated, that on the road. That's how you lose games.
That second quarter was what did them in. Like, because DC got a pick six in that quarter, and then after that, it was just when it rains it pours. The Houston has the last 2 weeks for Houston has really made you question them. Like, have they always been this undisciplined team, or were the teams they were playing just that bad?
I'm starting to kind of think it was a mixture of both, right? Because like they weren't like they hadn't beaten anybody really worth a grain of salt up till this point. They just kind of beaten bad football teams.
So like you see the two teams they've lost against, right? Like they lost to Seattle, and they were undisciplined. And Seattle again, protege, like student trying to beat the teacher. I think the OC
they've had 20 penalties in the last 2 games.
The OC for Houston is a protege of the OC for Seattle. So it's basically like the Seattle defense is like, oh, we literally know what you're gonna run. Like
their first 4 victories when the Houston Roughnecks were undefeated, they beat the Guardians twice, they beat San Antonio, they beat Arlington. And then they've lost to the Sea Dragons and the Defenders.
And so and shout out to Cole McDonald, former Rainbow Warrior from the University of Hawaii. It was like, and they got out to a good start. It was 8-0, then it was 8-3, and then DC scored 9 and made it 9-8. Then you get the pick six, that makes it 17-9. You go in that goes into halftime. Come out of halftime, they get Houston. DC scores again, that makes it 23-8. Then it's 26-8. Then it's 26-14 from the Cole McDonald to Deontay Barnett. All right, and then it's like, okay, now you're thinking, all right, like we got a chance. One stop, we score, we're back in this. But that didn't happen because the minute you get the ball, the minute you score, you kick the ball off, DC scores again, and that's 34-14. And it's just like, all right, yep, it's just not our week.
Yeah, I mean, because when we went to ran our podcast yesterday doing the NFL show, it was 8-3. I'm like, okay, I'll come back to this game, and they're like, you're like, yeah, this game's a blowout. I was like, what? How? What happened?
It got ugly pretty fast too. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah, it was 26-8. I mean, it's not insurmountable in the XFL, but I mean, if you continue letting up big plays and you keep shooting yourself in the foot with penalties over and over again, that's what's going to happen.
And it was a physical game too. Like, it was chippy. It was. I understand Abram Smith had 19 for 95. It says he averaged 5 yards a carry, but a lot of that didn't come to the game was pretty much out of reach. Like, it was a chore. It was a struggle for this DC.
Well, this Houston defense is really good. Like, they do have a good defense when they're playing discipline.
Like, bro, like it was a chore for them to run the ball. Like you said, De'Aaron King didn't have a rush attempt. Yeah, they sat on every read option. They sat on it. Like, all right, we already know. So we know Jordan Teamu can run, but we already know that when De'Aaron King comes into the game, 9 times out of 10, if it's a read option, he's gonna keep it.
Yep. And they literally tried it. They didn't even try it. They threw it one time with him, and they're like, "Yeah, this isn't gonna work in this game.
This isn't gonna work in this game."
Yeah, let's do something else. And yeah, kudos to them for being flexible with their play calling. Houston actually played well enough to win this game. They had more total yards than DC, but again, penalties and undisciplined play, and just not. That's what happens.
Because I said it during the show yesterday. Like, every other play, Wade Phillips is taking his headset off, like going off cussing, like he talking to the refs. He's just flabbergasted. And the Houston offense under when Brandon Silvers was playing, it was tough to watch. Like the
I mean, well,
like
this DC Defenders defense is excellent. So
the bro, like, but it's not just that though. Like, it's the last 2 weeks. It's like the offense struggled in Seattle, and I already said why. And then you come into this game, and this is it's hands down like this. DC's the best team in the league now,
yep.
and the announcers were like, "Yo, what is happening to this? What is happening to this Houston offense? Why are they struggling? This isn't the Houston offense that we've become accustomed to seeing." Da 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 da. All that good stuff.
I'm telling you, there's a lot that has to do with the fact that they played basically the bottom of the barrel for the first 4 weeks of the season, and then when they got to play some teams that actually have some chops, yeah, they got beat. They lost the game in a bad way.
You know,
Moving on from week number 6, before we close the book, let's talk about game ball. Who's going to get your game ball this week, TJ?
Oh, Lucky Jackson. Lucky Jackson was basically uncoverable in that defender roughneck game. Like, he had one, like the route he ran for the touchdown was basically like a slant, like a sluggo, like a slant and go. He was wide open. He was he was wide open. I'm like, I don't know what the defender saw. Like, I really don't. But he was like, the minute he made the cut to cut up the middle of the field, it was like, oh my god, there's no one around me. Like, Jordan Tiamu had to be like, oh my god, there's no one around him.
This is like the easiest pass receiver. I'm going to go with AJ McCarron. 23 of 29, 236, 3 touchdowns. Also, shout out to, in the same game, Jordan Tiamo as well. His most efficient game as a passer so far in the XFL, because he's really gotten it done with his legs. This is his first game where he really got it done with his arm.
19 to 31.
Love to see it. Moving on to week number 7, as we are already halfway through the XFL season.
Over halfway.
And we got a Friday night game this week. We got the emerging Sea Dragons going up against the treading water Arlington Renegades. TJ, who do you think is taking home the victory here in Arlington?
I'm going with Seattle. I think this winning streak gets extended to 5 straight as Ben DiNucci continues to make a claim for MVP of this league. I think if he has any challengers, it's probably somebody on that Washington on that DC team, whether it's Abram Smith or Jordan Teamu. Pick between the two of them. But Ben DiNucci he's coming for that MVP spot, and it continues this week against Arlington. Give me Seattle.
Totally agree with you. Seattle's Seahawks, this upward trajectory that they've been on the last 3 weeks. Because remember, this is a team that didn't have a victory. Now they rattled off 4 in a row. This is continuous against the Renegades. I don't trust the Renegades quarterback play. Ben DiNucci has been the best quarterback in this league by far.
Mm-hmm.
To Saturday, we got the San Antonio Brahmas going into Las Vegas and taking on the 1-5 Vipers. One of these teams has to get out the schneid. As if the Brahmas actually just won a game, but the Vipers. They've struggled over the last few weeks, but I think the Brahmas defense is tough enough where I think they're going to shore up against the Vipers. I think the Brahmas get this victory, especially since now their quarterbacks will have a whole full week to at least practice. So give me the Brahmas to win this game.
So is there any update on their normal, there's Jack Cohn, or is there any update on them, or are they going to go into this game with Juwan Pass and Ben Cart? I can't say.
I don't know.
That okay. Because they have the better defense, and I don't even think it's close. Yeah, give me San Antonio.
I'm going to go with San Antonio too, but I do not know exactly what their quarterback situation is going to be. Let's be completely frank. Even when Jack Cohen was healthy, he wasn't remotely good. So I don't, I don't know who the other quarterback on the roster even is right now. So. I know they lost both of them, and then me and TJ, we're just gonna skip the Saturday night game.
Oh God! Really?
It's the undefeated Defenders on Saturday night going up against the defeated Orlando Guardians.
Hey, I think this might be all right. So, Houston put up what 44? They beat them 44-16 when they played the Guardians. I think this might be our first 50-point game.
They put up 33 the first time they played them, and they put up 44 the second time they played Orlando.
Yeah, I think this might be the first 50-point game.
I do not think it's going to be a 50-point game, but I do expect the.
No, I'm saying, I'm saying DC's gonna score 50.
I know. I'm just disagreeing with you. I don't think their offense is going to put up 50 points. I don't think they'll need to put up 50 points to win this game.
Okay, you don't need to put up 50 points, yes, but can they stop you? Are they gonna?
I think at some point they'll take the wheel. Maybe they'll take the foot off the gas, but I don't really know. We haven't seen a team like run up the score in the XFL yet. So let's see what happens. But yeah, I'm going to take the Defenders. I think that should be a blowout. To the final game, we got Sunday afternoon, a matinee. We got the Los Angeles. I almost gave away their team again. The St. Louis Battlehawks going into Houston, taking on the Roughnecks, as the Roughnecks try to get over the hump where they've lost the last 2 games in a row. TJ, do they in this game against St. Louis?
No. I think St. Louis. I think St. Louis beats them. Obviously, if you're asking me to choose between AJ McCarron and the inconsistency that is the Houston Roughnecks, that falls back onto what's his name, Bob Stoops. Like, bro, pick a quarterback. Pick a quarterback. Like, you have 2 quarterbacks. They do the same thing. They're not really mobile.
Well, Cole McDonald's pretty mobile, but they use them in running situations.
My bad. I'm thinking of the wrong team. Houston. This is gonna be a good one. St. Louis, Houston. St. Louis. Oh, okay.
I'm gonna tell you, I'm taking the Battlehawks. I think Houston. I think they've benefited by the fact that the first 4 weeks of the season they've played lackluster opponents. I think the last few weeks have shown they can't really hang with the big dogs in the XFL. I got the St. Louis Battlehawks winning this game easily.
I'm gonna flip my pick. I'm gonna go with Houston. I think little home cooking, little sleeping in their own bed might do them some justice. They also have, excuse me, they have the defense that can check this Seattle St. Louis receiving core headlined by Hakeem Butler, who is a
He did get banged up. He did get banged up a little bit towards the end of that last game. I would double check his status before, if you're going to be a betting person who bets on the XFL. I would double check his status
100%.
Yeah, so.
But I'm gonna go Houston. I think they win. I think it's gonna be close.
I expect this game to be close, but I'm going to go with the Battlehawks. I think they're just a better team. It's just my honest opinion. And the quarterback play has gotten a little bit wonky there in Houston, because at one point Brandon Silvers was looking like the best quarterback in the league, but he's struggled mightily the last few weeks, and so we'll see if that continues. What ends up happening with that. But yeah, that's been our week 6 recap, week number 7 predictions. Thank you for continue to checking us out at the XFL, as we're going to be rolling through the entire season. Thank you, Michael Boren, for checking us out here from the Facebook XFL 3.0 group. We very much appreciate your support. But yeah, I'm David Huppin. Right there's my co-host, Mr. TJ Hopkins. Also, if you happen to do business live, the link to all of our streaming platforms is there as well. TJ, what do we do here at the Prime, my friend?
We bring the heat, and shout out to Magic Johnson and his financial group. They put in a bid to buy the Washington Commanders, and it was followed up by another bid by a Canadian billionaire. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name because I saw it one time, and I'm like, what does that say?
Yeah, we're gonna jump back into the NBA stuff tomorrow with an episode of the crossover. Also, Izzy is gonna be breaking down the Final Four matchup tomorrow afternoon. So you don't want to miss that content. Thursday, we're gonna do something NFL related, and then Friday at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we are going to have our WrestleMania preview podcast. So if you want to check out some XFL stuff and hang out with us and talk some wrestling when it comes to WrestleMania this weekend, TJ, I am so excited, dude. You have no idea. I bought a top hat for it.
I'm just gonna give a prediction right now. I think Jay turns on Roman. I think Roman beats Cody, but I think Jay turns on Roman and they start that feud.
I think Kevin Owens turns on Sami Zayn during that tag team match. And
whoa,
those titles, yeah.
Okay.
So I'm gonna have all the predictions. I'm gonna have a full prediction article here either tomorrow or either on Friday night or Saturday morning. So keep an eye out for that content. I love WrestleMania, man. So it's one of my favorite times of year. But I'm David Huffman right there. So TJ Hopkins. We will be back here tomorrow breaking down the NBA as we are winding down closer to the end as Kevin Durant makes his return tomorrow.
So tomorrow.
Yep. I'll see you later, buddy.
See you, man.